Hey everybody, it's Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. Just got some news today, May the 27th, 2020. Latest updates for you on the cruise world. There are announcements coming out from Carnival through a couple of their subsidiary cruise lines, Aida Cruising and Costa Cruises. These two lines have just made some news out of Europe, and this I think is a reflection of what we're going to see for the whole continent over there for the rest of the year. Thank you, by the way, for subscribing to my channel, Traveling with Bruce. Really appreciate you folks subscribing to me. Thank you for thumbs ups as well. They really help with the analytics of this channel. All your comments are great too. I really appreciate them. By the way, on Facebook, we have a group page called Traveling with Bruce. Come on over there. There's 4,700 of us and counting. We do hang out there between these videos, and thank you for joining me on Instagram. Jennifer's handling the postings there, and we're over 900 followers. That is fantastic. Thank you also for supporting my channel through Redbubble, picking up your Traveling with Bruce logoed items, including the COVID masks and T-shirts and coffee mugs, and you name it. It's unbelievable. Thank you. All the links are down below for Redbubble. Well, let's get into this. In Europe today, Carnival has announced via Aida Cruise Line and also Costa Cruise Line that they have canceled all cruises now to the end of July. They will not sail until at least August 1. Now, we have not heard any details regarding if they do start sailing August 1st, which ships will be running and which ships won't. We don't know of the itineraries yet. We don't know if in reality would the next 6 months of sailings basically be wiped out, and 5 ships for each cruise line or 3 ships for each cruise line will start sailing again, and will they sail on the itineraries that they were advertising a year or two ago? I mean, this is all up in the air, people. It's a complete mismatch. The reasoning being given here by both cruise lines is that they cannot assure themselves and their passengers, their customers, they can't verify to any of the travel agencies that are booking these cruises. They cannot verify what is going to happen to the cruise lines ships when they get to these various ports. For example, in Europe. So if a cruise is starting in Hamburg, Germany, and is going to visit a number of the Baltic countries, each Baltic country is in total disarray right now regarding the future of accepting cruise ships in. If you want to start a cruise in Rome and sail the Mediterranean for a week, let's say heading all the way to Barcelona and Cadiz, no word from Spain if and or when which ports will be open and under what circumstances. If you're taking a cruise out of Venice and you're heading over to Greece and Turkey, same thing over there. Complete disarray. There is no coordination between these different countries, their cruise ports, and all of their health protocols. And the reason is simple. We have no idea, as do they, what is going to happen with this virus that we're fighting right now. Is there a second wave coming? If so, where's the hotspot? If a hotspot shows up, say in the middle of September, and it starts to affect residents in the Naples area, any ship that would have been in Naples the 2 weeks prior to the outbreak, and at that point in time, all those passengers could have been exposed to the virus without anyone knowing about it. We're talking about the possibility of 10 or 15 cruise ships that could have visited Naples during that 2-week time window, with 2,000 to 3,000 passengers on each ship, tens of thousands of cases that could now flare up. And these folks are from all over the world, these passengers on these cruise ships. We're hoping, of course, that from North America, we can fly to Europe and vacation there. Europeans are hoping to fly to North America and come here and vacation here. The problem is that if you go to an area where everything is fine when you get there, but you find out 2 or 3 or 4 weeks later that while you were in that region, a breakout was taking place, an absolute hotspot breakout, and thousands of people became infected. Now we may have tens of thousands of carriers. In other words, we're all becoming super spreaders without us knowing it. And this is why every couple of weeks I keep reporting to you that another cruise line is delaying another bunch of cruises, another cruise line is delaying another cruise line. These cruise lines are helpless. The airlines are helpless. We're helpless in determining where we might or might not catch this virus going forward until, theoretically, there's a vaccine perfected. And I still maintain that that's at least a year from now, perhaps 2 years, and perhaps never. We just don't know yet. It's so early on. So looking at these gorgeous photos that I've put up here of these fantastic European stops, it just makes you pine for the past, and you really begin to understand just how precious it is to be able to take a trip and not have to fear at all the fact that you might get ill or create an illness for someone else. I mean, what a luxury that was. Here's an image here from space of Venice, and there's the port facility there. I can tell you right now that today, that port facility, there are no ships in there. There are no little boats in there at all. It is absolutely dead quiet. All those canals that you see now beginning to show, the traffic there is much lighter than it was before. And Venetians, last year, they had different concerns than this year. Last year's concerns for Venetians were all about the fact that we have too many tourists coming here. Look at all the ships in the bottom of that harbor there in the bottom right-hand corner of that picture. Look at them all those little boats, gondolas, ferries. They were overrun with tourists. They had the problem of too much love. This year, there's no one here. There are no tourists coming in, and business is off dramatically. And it's just gone from one extreme to the other in a span of only a few months. It's very unfortunate, but it is the way of the world. Of course, in the U.S. and Canada and Caribbean, it's the same. Asia, Australia, the same. Here in Florence, one of the greatest things you could have done is to get on top of the dome up here and had a view from about 30 stories up off the ground of this entire area here in Florence. And as it pulls back, you can begin to notice just how tiny those people start to become. And after a while, they look like a little bit of a blur. You can see the restoration work needing to be done here on the dome. That apparently is being done as I'm speaking to you now. This is a few years old, this photo. You can see the scaffolding there on the bottom coming up as the restoration work is done. But this is something we're not going to see for a while because we can't even fly into Italy. We cannot fly to Spain. And of course, Europeans have been restricted within their own countries between themselves to travel. So this is something that we just can't enjoy for a while. So for our friends at Costa and Aida, I think that's how you properly pronounce Aida cruises, the Aida line caters mainly to German-speaking cruisers, although they speak all the languages on board that ship. The Aida line cruises around the world, but in the summertime is very much involved in this region here, of course, throughout all of the Mediterranean. And Costa, which is originally out of Italy, owned by Carnival. The Costa line also in the summertime is very heavily sailing the Mediterranean area and Northern Europe, of course. So visits like this here to Monte Carlo are out of the question. It's really, if you ever want to see Europe on the, I won't say on the cheap necessarily, but I guess I just did say it, didn't I? But if you ever want to see Europe affordably, you take a cruise. If you can take a 10 or a 12 or 14-day Mediterranean cruise, you do the math with regard to your accommodation, your meals, and the fact that you get to see 6, 7, 8 countries in one trip. You can't beat this deal for the variety of spots that you get to sample and the ports you get to experience, the culture you get to see. There's nothing like it. But unfortunately, this summer, I think Costa and Aida, the delay will be beyond August 1st. Right now they're talking August 1, but something tells me we're going to go longer. Here's Villefranche-sur-Mer in France, just a little bit west of Monte Carlo. By a bus ride, it'll take you about 35-40 minutes from here. What a gorgeous place. And right now, they have it all to themselves, and that's a good thing. If you're not in the tourist business, it's a great thing. If you're in the tourist business, this is a bad thing. But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to visit this gorgeous area for a while yet. Thank you for joining me today, tolerating this long, rambling YouTuber. Thank you for following my channel. Stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll talk to you next time, everybody. Bye for now.